Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, everybody. Welcome back to another 2 p.m. PST YouTube stream. I'm your host, Strange Bro Jim, and today we're going to be getting back into some Pega certification learning. We got some Unreal, or continuing the quick start for Unreal later on today. Then we got um, some video uploads to do after that. And then later on tonight, we got Phasmophobia. So we got a jam-packed day for you today. So if you're just watching this on YouTube later, thank you for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. Hopefully you continue to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. That would be fantastic. Um, but there, as I mentioned, other content for you to consume as well if you're so inclined. You know, there's multiple different playlists that I've put up, so feel free to check all that out. For those of you that want to, you can join me right now in chat, but during these live streams, and say hi to me right here and now. Um, and you can ask me questions concerning, the topic at hand or, some other random question. Doesn't necessarily guarantee that I'll answer said random question, um, but yeah. Now for um, for today, or actually, let me explain who I am and what these videos are about. For those of you that are wondering, Jim, what are you doing with these Pega videos? Okay, so um, well, I've already explained. I'm Jim. I'm currently an unemployed software developer trying to look for work right at this moment in time. My last job was dealing with the Pega environment, so um, I had a lot to, um, my last job basically threw me into the Pega environment. Or, they train and they tried to train us on the Pega environment. We had a authorized training partner that really wasn't that great. The majority of the team that was being trained pretty much went self-study. Um, and even the guys' coworkers knew that we were having a rough time with them and saw why. But nothing happened. We were basically forced into the contract afterwards, and yeah. Um, the one time that they said you have to take your Pega certification or that we will um, lay you off, I was like going, okay, well, I'm definitely not ready for it. I took it. I failed it because I knew that I would. I was not prepared for it whatsoever by the time they, uh, forced me to take it. So, and yeah, mainly because, I was still doing self-study at the time. And well, if you've taken any look at the playlist that I have, it takes a while to get through these missions. They say that they're shorter than what they actually are, but I mean, if I want to learn what they all are, then I need to kind of consume and digest the material. I can't necessarily, read through it and, get it memorized like that. That's not how it works. you know, sure, get it in the short-term memory, but you want it in the long-term memory. Um, Otherwise, you're gonna not pass the certification. Um, and I think that's what they do on the academy. They time it for like short-term memory, and it's like, uh, um, but we move on. Um, so you know, it fell on me to try to continue working on the certification afterwards. It would have been fantastic if I actually had a decent mentor afterwards, trying to help me, guide me through the process of learning it all. But um, But I mean, when it comes right down to it, it does fall on my shoulders that I didn't continue studying for it and not not passing it. Um, you know, that's the reason for these streams, these videos, because these streams helps me focus on the goal. So it keeps me focused upon it, and then I can continue to progress through it. Um, so yeah. Now, just to let you know though, I'm not an authorized training partner and I'm not instructor-led training. Don't consider that from these videos at all. I'm not an expert in Pega. I would expect an instructor-led or authorized training would be an expert in Pega and teach you everything that you need to know about Pega so that you can pass the certification with flying colors. Um, if you want to take the instructor-led training, go right ahead. I, I don't really know much about it. Um, Other than the instructor is most likely an employee of the Pega Academy and should be able to teach you everything that you need to know about Pega. Um, and oops, I accidentally clicked that. Um, and should be able to um, you know give you all the information and answer your questions for the certification at hand. Um, it's a short, like 2 week training cycle that costs about $5,000. So it's not exactly cheap there, folks. Um, but um, but hopefully, you get that certification and you can, you know, start putting that on your resume so that you can actually get a job, and so that $5,000 will would be a past memory. But hard to say, I wish you luck on it. Um, but I can't afford it, and um, so yeah, we're just gonna do self-study, or we've been doing self-study for a while now. Okay, I'm working towards getting my system architect certification. Um, while I have covered all of the business architect certification, I don't really have any interest in it. So um, I may take it just to have it on hand, but um, for those of you that want to study the business, that are trying to study for the business architect certification, it's done. We've already covered all in the two missions and two modules for the business architect certification. If you want to, you are welcome to go back through the past videos. They're all in order, through the two missions and two modules for Pega Platform 8.7. So you're welcome to go back through them and check them out. If you are a member of the Pega Academy, you're a Pega veteran, manager, lead, whatever, I welcome you to go back through my old videos and answer any questions that I might have, because believe me, I do have some, and I'm just looking for answers, much like anybody else. Looking for just kind of clarity on some of the topics, because um, some of their language and some of their topics has been confusing. Um, they use keywords that are completely at random at times. I experienced it recently with the system architect. I'll show you about that in just a second. So, I'm making these videos in the hopes that the community itself will come and support me as well. They will come in, they will check out the module that I might be struggling with, and will be able to answer the questions that I might have. I welcome you to do that if you are indeed, professional, or have the experience of Pega. So, um, I welcome you to help me out with that. The two modules here for the business architect, they are part of the Pega Express delivery. The Pega Express delivery is 12% of the certification. So you're gonna want to know um, a good majority of the Pega Express delivery because I don't think these two modules really does enough. Okay, so go through this mission here for that, so that you can get the 100% out of that 12%. Okay. Otherwise, if you get a zero off of that, then you are, you know, at, now at maximum of 88%, and the fail is 70. So just bear that in mind. Okay. So, make sure that you go through this. Okay. Let's get into the system architect. We've already gone through the first two missions here. We're going through all the other missions and challenges and the like. Um, we were tackling the creating and managing teams, and I think that's one of the ones, and that's the one that I was having a little bit of trouble with lately, was the fact that they were using teams and units and um, various other things, and it's like, wait, what? What are you doing? So it was a little rough on that. I kind of sent them a suggestion to try to maybe clean it up a little bit, but we'll see where that goes. Um, we did the data storage and memory, clipboard data, and the PY work page the past two streams. So we are now on the setting property values with the clipboard, which actually, now that I remember, um, this was just a challenge kind of walkthrough, example that you could do. So actually, I could have gone after I'd finished off with the PY work page. I could have gone on to the module quiz. I think about it. Oh well. Okay. Well, let's finish off the module. Okay. Drag each page category to the associated page description. We got 3 questions to go through on this module quiz, which is very odd for 3 topics, one of which is very heavy in terms of the amount of information contained within them, but whatever, we'll move on. Um, okay, so we got data page, link, property page, user page, and system page. Again, we don't really know much about the linked property page, so this is a little confusing for me, but we'll see what we can do about the other 3 at the very least. So, page named PY user portals, embedded portal layout on top level page named access group. Not sure about that. Read-only page name, PX results on top level page name, product type sourced data from an external database. Um, I'm thinking that's the data page, but it might also be the linked property page as well. But let me just stick with the data page for now. A page named PX Flow, vacation request, and an element of a page group named PX Flow on the top little page named PY work page. Hmm. Read-only page created by PY origin division property that references to source properties to display the division cost center. Oh boy. This one is really rough for me there, folks. I'm not gonna lie. Um, because they're giving specific examples, and they didn't really do that when they were kind of talking about this originally, or at least not very well. Uh, okay, I think the other read-only page was the systems page, so I think that's the system page right there. I think the user portals is part of the user page, so there's that. And this might be the linked property page. I don't know. Let's click on feedback and let's find out. Oh, I was wrong all over the place. Okay. So the data page was correct. Okay. So that's good. So, I remember the data page being a read only. So, um, okay. So, okay, user page is not a read-only page. It, it gathers current data. So, um, so I believe that's the linked property page. Now that I think about it, I was originally thinking that it might have been system page, but well, seeing that user page is not in the PY user portals, which, I was thinking, hey, user portals, would be part of the, um, might be part of the crate case. That obviously was not that was not correct. Which reminds me that the PY work page is part of the case type, so I should have realized that. So the user page is probably there, and the system page is probably there. So we move on. We can't click on feedback to double check that, so we don't really know. Which two tasks can you perform with the clipboard tool? Okay, test decisions on a case by setting property values for a form that has not been submitted. Sure, we can do that. Update linked properties that reference the customer data object. Well, maybe, but I'm not sure about that. Review the current values of user data such as operator ID and access groups. I mean, sure. Update the vehicle model on the vehicle information data page. Um, okay. The reason why I'm not thinking about, I don't believe linked properties is the correct one is because you're you're getting information from the customer data object. It's not something that you can um, outright change because you're getting the information from the data object. Um, Same with the vehicle information data page, but I mean, can you not change the values on that? I thought you could. That's my. I thought the whole purpose of the clipboard was that you can kind of change the values like right then and there. So, I'm looking at all these. I'm not thinking, can you not? Because you're trying to perform it in the clipboard tool. So, maybe their term here, update, meaning, you want to actually change what's like inside the data page and what's inside the customer data object. Maybe that's what they're trying to refer to. And no, you don't want to do that. So maybe that's um, the wording that you have to be careful about. Here, let's check feedback and see if I'm actually correct or not. Okay, so they do agree that both of those are correct. The clipboard tool allows you to set a property value on data not yet added to the case, which is true. Clipboard tool provides a snapshot of current contents of memory, such as current user information. So yeah. Um, I want to know why they don't feel that these two are correct, though. So we'll go back to that in just a second. Which scenario describes the type of information that is stored in the PY work page? Now remember, the PY work page is the information stored about the current case type. So a list of available properties in the Greater Boston metro area that are cached from the realtor's database. No. Information about the external storage provider for the bank application. No. Date and time a user created the onboarding case. Uh, well, I guess maybe. The access groups for the customer service representative who's currently logged into the application. No. So that's probably the best one. Yeah. Okay. So we got it right. So I'm gonna go ahead and retry so we can kind of look at the wrong answers a little bit more. So here, we already verified that these two are the correct answers, but we want to check these two out. Okay, linked properties reference data objects and cannot be updated using clipboard tool. Data page references system or record that cannot be updated by using clipboard tool. Okay, but you can still change the values, so can you not? I mean, you're you want to test decisions on a case by setting property values, right? So can you not? Hmm, I don't know. We've already done this one, but I mean, it's helpful to go, hey, PY work page, user page. Or, remember the PY work page is about, the current case type, which is basically covers everything that the user page is all about. So, um, the page named the PY user portals, embed portal layout on the top of the page and access group, and that is the system page for some reason. Again, I'm not 100% sure why, but it is what it is. Um, we have the external database being the data page, and then of course a read-only page created by the PY origin division property that references two source properties to display the division cost center. Why that's a linked property page, I'm not sure. But, again, they never really explained the linked property page very well to me. So, um, okay, so this one was the onboarding case for the PY work page. Um, let's see. I mean, access groups are not part of a PY work page anyway. That's something that you would see on like the dashboard and stuff like that. So I mean, you know, um, um, information about the external storage provider for the UBIG application wouldn't necessarily be inside the case type anyway. Again, that would be kind of like background information, like the user ID or something like that. So you should be able to you know pick that one out fairly well. Um, Now, I could see someone picking this one, a list of available properties, because it's being cached from a realtor's database. But let's see what they say about that. Data cache from external system is stored on a data page, not on the user page. So bear that in mind. Okay. So so that's a good point on that. You know, because it's coming from an external database. The information stored would be stored on a data page and not the user page. So, all right, we're gonna continue mission. Leave that. Okay, hold on. Let me back on out real quick so we have a idea as to what we're going on and we're moving on to next here. You know, So we just finished off the viewing data in memory. Again, apologies on doing the module quiz so late in the game, but we're going to move on to the validating data in Dev Studio. Oh boy. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time for this. Um, this is a lot of information, and I only have about 20 more minutes before I'm going to be meeting up with Blackheart concerning the Unreal Engine. So, normally these 15-minute discussions take a while there, folks. So, I think I'm going to have to leave this for tomorrow, which means the next video in this playlist is going to be a fairly short introduction. I want to make sure that I have enough time to get through all the information presented here in the data validation in Dev Studio and um, get into um, get into the Unreal um, work later on later on tomorrow. So looks like I'll just have to hold off on that for next time. So really, it's kind of unfortunate, but looks like um, this video is basically continuing along, is just finishing off the module, the viewing data memory. Again, apologies on that. Maybe I can review a little bit more before I go on to the Unreal. Um, because I really need to um, figure out what the um, what is the linked property pages? Um, that's the one thing that I really need to kind of figure out quite a bit. See, what would really be nice is if they actually kind of provided a little bit more examples, especially seeing that the quiz itself was kind of really focused on like, hey, here's actual live data, from like, they show like the PYs and so on and so forth. They gave us, like potentially like real information that you could potentially see on the job right there in the module quiz, but they didn't really do that very much here. And um, I really felt as though I was getting enough information um, to really tackle the module. So, matter of fact, I think I'm gonna go ahead and give a question about this. Um, so I just took the module quiz and I struggled with knowing the difference between user data, blank property, and um, ha 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 ha. Hold on. System. Um, um, especially when the module quiz gave direct examples from um, the data and the um, image above didn't really do that. Um, I'm most confused about linked property because I'm not sure what exactly. Here, let me let me exactly it's intended for. I could really use some clarification besides you'll learn more about it later. Is that didn't really help me for the module quiz. Would really appreciate some direct clarification if you could provide. Also, would recommend um, adding a little more clarity on the topic itself. All right. So, yeah. This is the one that I'm not really 100% sure about. Um, obviously, as you can see, list read-only pages. So remember that. That's a key part of the linked property pages. Okay, both the linked property pages and the data pages are all related to read-only. So, the user pages are not read-only. They don't have to worry about read-only because they're kind of working with the PY work page directly, and the system pages. So, describe the current user session, such as active user and the active application. So, but the PY page's related properties are advanced data structures, typically created and configured by more experienced developers, um, which contain information about the data types referenced by an associated property. Now let's go back to the module quiz right now. Or actually, hold on. Let me do it this way. I'll open up a new tab. We'll go back to the module quiz here, and then we'll just kind of swap between the two to kind of see like the differences between those two. So there we go. Okay, so um, so a page named PX Workflow Vacation Request, which should automatically kind of raise, some hints about, hey, this is coming potentially from a user. An element of a page group named pxflow on the top level page named pyworkpage. So, um, so this right here is automatically telling you this is part of the, um, you know, this is part of the user pages. Okay. Pages directly created directly or indirectly as a result of user action. User pages contain data about the work done in a selected thread. When the user processes a folder, for example, the data you enter in a form is stored on the PY workpage user page. Similarly, when the developer configures or tests a rule, all pages that store the data used by that rule are listed in that category. So anytime a user is entering information for the PY workpage. Okay, so just kind of remember that for something similar to this. So user page goes there. Okay. We are already aware that a read-only page named PX results on the top level page named list of product types sources data from an external database. Okay, and we know that data pages, contains read-only data pages from used to cache data from another source, such as third-party service or system of record, aka external database. So just kind of bear that in mind. Okay, so that would be the data page. Okay, now these two are what is obviously you know the concern that you should have right now. Now we already know read-only page is automatically a linked property page, but let's read a little bit more into this. So, like for example, if it's just these two here, okay, and they only give you, the linked property page and data page. Like they don't even give you these other two pages here. How will you know that this one here is, in what way is this one here different than this one here? Okay. Now, of course, the external database should be a red flag. You know, should be like data page, right? Um, but that doesn't necessarily help you for a linked property page. Okay. If they give you this and tell you, hey, what is this called? Okay, you're gonna need to know, that is a linked property page. You're gonna need to kind of type that out or something like that. You're gonna need to name it linked property page. So, um, but the problem is that what's there that really kind of explains it. Read-only page created by the py.org division property that references two source properties to display the division cost center. Read-only page created by the py original division property. By related properties, which contain information about the data types referenced by an associated property. Which contain information about the data types. Problem is that it doesn't really give you. It doesn't even really mention data types here. So that's why I'm getting kind of thrown off about this. It says that it references two source properties. So, I mean, you could probably try to maybe pick that out. Um, to display the division cost center. I'm not sure there, folks. This is what's kind of throwing me off about this a little bit. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why this kind of stands out as the linked property page. Or at least there's nothing that's automatically clicking for me like, oh yeah, that's a linked property page, no problem. Um, like now I can tell py work page is typically referenced for user page, external database for data page. I get that. I kind of clicked with that. I wouldn't necessarily be able to look at this directly and say, oh yeah, that's the linked property page. It wouldn't necessarily click in my mind right away. I don't really see like a key term in this example right at this moment in time beyond a read-only page um, that automatically gives me linked property page. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it's just my mind that's not really clicking for it right at this moment in time, but I could really use like an expert's help on this particular portion of this video to kind of help me understand why, what here really stands out as a linked property page. You know, Like, what are the key terms in here? You know, because a read-only page can also be a data page. You know, so I can't automatically assume, oh yeah, a read-only page is definitely a linked property page. Well, no, it can be a data page as well. I need to know why, what other term in here, you know, um, is like the key term. Is it the properties? Is properties the key term that I'm trying to look for on this? Or maybe it's references properties. Maybe that's the term here. Because it's referenced by an associated property. Mm, that might be what's there. Maybe I just answered my question, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not like, this is indeed, what I should be looking for when I get hit with these kind of questions on the certification. You know, is it indeed the references properties? Is that what I'm needing to look for when it comes to land property pages? So maybe like a different explanation is really needed for that. So and then of course the page named PY user portals and portal layout on top level page named access group. So concerning the system pages, uses pages that describe the current user session, such as active user and active application. So I mean, you're talking about access groups and user portals. So, so that's system page. All right, but that's going to be it for today's video. We're going to go ahead and close on down for this one. We're going to switch on over to the Unreal Engine tutorials and learning over there. So if you have an interest in that, if you're watching this Pega video on YouTube, feel free to check out the playlist that I'll be creating for the Unreal study session with Blackheart. Hopefully you'll join me for those. We're going to be continuing with the stream in just a second. So if you're here with me right now in the middle of the stream, don't worry. I'm not necessarily going anywhere. I'm just switching over the scene collection to another page altogether. But we're going to go ahead and close on down this video. So I want to thank you all for joining me on today's Pega study session. Feel free to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. That would be fantastic. Check out the description for other links, such as my Discord, Patreon, Throne, and I even created a stream team if you want to join that. Looking for um, pretty much anybody that is willing to hold up the mission, you know, to join the team. More description about that on that page. So, um, but yeah, that's it. That's where we're gonna go ahead and end it. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I catch you next time. But until then, take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And I'll catch you strangers next time.